Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Hello dear students, welcome to Chaitanya Studio of Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. Myself Dr. Shivang Patel, Associate Professor at School of Computer Science, Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. In this lecture series of MCA program, Subject 104 Operating System, we have just started Block 3, that is Basic Introduction of Linux and Unix System, in which we have started Unit-2, file and directory related commands. In previous session, we have discussed directory related commands and few of the file related commands. Now in today's session, we are continuing with file related commands, few more file related commands. But before we start, just revise the few of the topics that we have already covered in the previous session. So we have discussed ls, that is listing directory. We have also done practicals. So if you are executing this ls command, that is listing directory and files, so it will list all the files and directories that are available in the current directory. We have also mentioned some options of ls command. You already aware that if you are using this l option with hyphen sign, that is ls-l or ls-l, so it will display the detailed information of file and directory. This detailed information that contains some permissions, which type of file or which type of directory is there, then after the who is the owner, that is the user information, then what is the file size, the total number of links related with that file or directory, then after the modification time or creation time of that particular file or directory, and the file name itself. This detailed thing that we have discussed in the previous session. Right. Now suppose you want to display hidden file, we have seen the A option. So if you are using that A option with ls command, you can able to see the hidden files. As we have mentioned that hidden files that can be represented or started with the dot sign, right. So whenever you are using this A option, you can able to see all the hidden files, right. Now we are moving with the new command, that is cat command, that is concatenation. We have just discussed in the previous session how to create file with the help of cat command, right. Now suppose practically you can see you want to create a file. So first of all you can check you are currently in which directory. So directory related command, that is pwd, that you already aware. Whenever you are executing this command, you can able to see currently you are working in which directory. Now suppose you want to see how many directories or subdirectories or files are there in this current directory. The file related command, that is ls, you already aware you are using that. So whenever you are using this ls command, you can see here 3 directories are there. We have created already in the previous session, right. Now suppose you want to create some file into that particular directory. So we have seen the directory related command, that is cd, change directory, if you want to move from one directory to another directory. So currently we are working in home and PCR. As you already aware that home, before home, slash is that represent the root directory. Now the current directory is PCR. If you want to create a file in some directory which is already exists, say for example mydir2, in that case you have to change the directory from PCR to mydir2. In that case you have to use the command cd, that is for change directory. So you can write here change directory, then after mydir2 and press enter. So now you are currently in mydir2. This is the relative path. As you already aware, basically 2 types of paths are there, absolute path and relative path. If you are moving into the directory which is available in the current directory, so it is not required to write the whole path, that is the relative path. And if you want to change the whole location or the whole directory which is at some different location, in that case you have to use the whole path or the main location, that is considering as the absolute path, right. So now you can check by using the pwd. Currently we are in mydir2. Now suppose you want to check whether some files are already there or not. So you can again use the ls command. So there is one file, file1.txt, that we have already created. Now suppose you want to create another file, then you can use the cat command and then after the greater than sign, because you want to create a new file. If you want to create a new file, you are requiring to use here greater than sign. That is the redirection option. Now I am giving the name file2 .txt, right. So the basic conventions that you must have to follow, as you already aware, the file name doesn't contain the space or it is some specific characters, all these conventions that you must have to follow. Now whenever I am pressing the enter, it will ask me for the data, it will ask me for the contents, right. So I can write some of the data here. So few lines I have written in this file. Now suppose I would like to save this file, the Ctrl D that you have to press. So I am pressing Ctrl D. So now this file is saved, right. Now suppose I am using ls command. So you can see two files. The first file, file1.txt, that we have already created in the previous session. The second file, file2.txt, we have created just now. So if you want to create a file, you are using greater than sign. Now suppose you want to display the contents. In that case, you are using the same command but without greater than sign. So I am using cat command and the file name. So you can able to see what is the content inside that particular file, right. So you have seen here the basically two purpose of cat command. You want to create a new file, you can use cat. If you want to see the contents, you can also use the cat. The only difference is that if you want to create a file, in that case you have to use the greater than sign, right. Now suppose you want to add some contents which is already available in an existing file. That means what? Whatever the contents you have added, that remains as it is, and you want to add some more commands. In that case, your whatever the data that can be appended at the end of the file, so that can be also possible with the cat command. In that case, you have to use the double greater than sign. So you can see here, suppose you want to add some few lines, you want to add few more lines in this file2.txt. In that case, I am using double greater than sign and the file name. So my file name is file2.txt. Now it will ask me for whatever the contents you want to add. So whatever the contents I am writing here, that will be added at the end of that particular file. So now I am adding this. This is my line, I would like to add this line. Now suppose I would like to save this content. Now Ctrl D is there. Whenever you are pressing Ctrl D, your file is saved. Now you can able to check the content of that particular file by using the cat command. Now the cat command and then after whatever the file name. So you can observe here, previously we have created with the help of greater than sign. If you want to see the content, then simply without greater than sign you can use the cat command and the file name, and you want to append the contents. In that case you are using that double greater than sign, right. Now we are moving with some other commands that we will see in subsequent sessions also. cp command, mv command, rm command, these all are the commands related with the files. We have already discussed this cat command. Ctrl D for saving, that we have seen. Then after, if you want to see the contents, you can use cat and then after the file name. Another utility of the cat command, suppose you want to concate the contents. That means you have created multiple files and you want to see all the contents in the merge form. That means file 1 content that should be displayed as well as file 2 contents that should also be displayed. In that case, you can use multiple file names after the cat command. So you can see on the screen cat, then after space file 1, file name 1 space file name 2. That means whatever the contents of file name 1, that will be displayed first, then after file name 2 contents that will be displayed without any header information. That means the another utility you can say that if you want to merge the content, you want to concat the contents of multiple files, in that case you can also use that cat command, right? Now we are moving with the next thing. Now cat command is generally used for displaying the text file only. The executable files, suppose you are trying to see the contents, then you can see some junk, you can see some garbage values, right? Double greater than size, as we have discussed, if you want to append the contents, we are using double greater than signs. Now the another option is n. So if you are using this n option with cat command, so you can see the line number of particular sentence in that particular file, right? So you can see, suppose you want to display that particular line numbers, so you can use cat, then after n, that is the option, and file name, that is file2.txt. Now you can see there are total 5 lines and each line that begins with the number. So that is one of the options of this cat command. If you want to display the line number, you can use that particular n option with the cat command, right? Now we are moving with the next command, that is the cp command. Now cp command, that is used for copy command. Another command is also there, that is mv command, that we will move after this cp command. Now what is the utility of cp command? So suppose you want to copy one file into another file, that means you want to copy the contents of one file into another file. In that case you are using this cp command, right? In that case you have to observe that basically 2 arguments that are required in the cp command. One is source file and another is the destination file. Now if you are passing the source file and destination file, that means whatever the contents of source file, that can be copied into the destination file. The exact copy of the source file that can be created here in this case. Now few things that you have to remember while using this cp command. You must have that source file if you are using cp command. If you are not having source file, in that case that command will give you the message the source file is not exist or no such file exist, right? So remember one thing, if you want to copy particular content from one file to another, the source file must exist before using that cp command. Second thing, suppose the target file or the destination file, it is not available. In that case, if you are using that cp command, it will be automatically created. In that case, it is not required to create again with the help of cat command, right? So we will see practically how this can be done. So first of all, I am removing this data by using clear command. Now I can check how many files are there. 2 files are there. Now I would like to copy the contents of file1.txt into file 2.txt. In that case, remember one thing, file 2.txt is already there, it is exist in this particular directory. So what happened? So if you are trying to copy the data of file 1 into file 2, so the data can be overridden. So now file 1 data, that can be exactly, you can say that the image that can be generated in the file 2, and whatever the contents or data which is available in file 2, that can be overwritten, right? Now suppose you want to copy that data into some another file, but which is not available in the current directory. In that case, it is automatically created. We can see practically. Now suppose you want to copy that file1.txt, whatever the contents in this file, that is our source file, into another file, file3.txt, say for example. Now in this case, file3.txt is not available. So cp command automatically creates that file, and whatever the contents of file 1, that should be copied into file 3. Now after pressing, the prompt will come. You can check the content by using cat command, cat file1.txt. So this is the contents of this file 1. You can check also the another file contents, that is file3.txt. You can see here. So contents will be copied from one file to another, right? Now we are moving with the thing that is if the destination file is not available in the current directory, in that case you have to use the whole path name, as we have discussed the absolute path. So you can pass the whole path name or the absolute path in the destination. So in that case what happen, whatever the contents of the source file, that will be copied into the file which is available in that particular location that is mentioned in the absolute path, right? Now which are the options that you can use with the cp command? So the first option, that is I, that is interactive, right? So as we have discussed in the example, suppose the file is already exist and you are trying to copy the contents of one file into another file. In that case the data or the contents should be overwritten, right? In that case, suppose you want to stop that thing, in that case you are using this I option, that is interactive option. If you are using this I option, the command will ask to the user if you want to copy or not. If you are pressing yes or if you are typing Y and then press enter, in that case only the content will be copied, that means it is overwritten. But if you are pressing no, in that case simply the command will be terminated and the copy cannot be done, right? So this I option, that is used for interactive, it will ask to the user whether you want to copy or not. If you are willingly to copy, you have to use yes, then and then it will be overwritten, otherwise simply it will terminate the command, right? So you can see on your screen basically cp, then after the I option, then after f1.txt, f2.txt, here it will ask for overwritten. If you are entering yes, then it will copy, or you can say that it is overwritten, right? Second thing, till now we have seen the source file, that is only one, that means the source file can be copied into the destination file, or whatever the contents of source file, that can be copied into the destination. But suppose you are requiring to copy multiple files into some directory, then it is also possible with the help of cp command. In that case what you have to write? You have to write cp command, and then after whatever number of files you want to copy, that file names you have to enter as a source file. Say for example 3 files you want to copy, f1.txt, f2.txt, f3.txt into some directory. So in that case your last argument, that must be the directory. So all 3 files that are copied into that particular location or particular directory that you have mentioned as a destination, right? Again the relative path or the absolute path that you have to keep in mind, that at which location you want to copy all those files, right? So you can see here in this example cp, f1, f2 and f3, these 3 files that will be copied into directory 1, right? So here you can copy multiple files into some directory. So this is cp command. Now another option, that is R, capital R or small r, that is recursive copy. Now sometimes what happen, suppose you want to copy the whole directory structure into some another directory. What is the meaning of whole directory structure? That means you have created one directory. Inside that directory some multiple subdirectories are there, and inside that some files are there, right? Now suppose you don't want to copy just file inside that particular directory or subdirectory, but you have to copy the whole structure. That means that file resides in particular subdirectory, or that subdirectory resides in particular directory. In that case the whole structure you want to copy from one location to another. In that case you are using this R option, R, that is capital or small letter, right? So you can see here on the screen, suppose you want to copy the whole structure, you are using this syntax, that is cp dir1 dir4 without the R option. In that case what happen, error message will occur because you are not using that recursive option. Now suppose you are using the recursive option, that is -r. In that case whatever the contents, that means the subdirectories or some files available in dir1, that will be copied into dir4. So, as it is structure that will be copied. So, that thing can be possible with the help of recursive option, that is R. Now, I think you are already cleared with the options we have discussed. Now, we are moving with some wildcard. So, as we have discussed, two wildcard characters are there, asterisk and question mark, that we have already discussed in the previous session. You can see, or the focus on the example. Suppose you want to copy 3 files, f1.txt, f2.txt, f3.txt. In that case, it is not required to write the name of all 3 files here. Other than, you can also use wildcard character, that is asterisk star. So, see the command cp space, then after star dot txt, that means what? All the files having the extension txt, whatever the name, that will be copied into dir1. So, this way you can use wildcard character also with this cp command. Now, next command is mv command, that is move command. Now, what is the difference between cp command and the move command? So, you have seen the cp command. Suppose you want to copy the contents of one file into another file, you are using cp command, right? In that case, the source file as well as the destination file both exist after executing this cp command. But suppose you are requiring, whenever you want to copy the contents, in that case, the source file must be removed and only the destination file requires. In that case, you are using the mv, just like cut and paste. The previous case, copy command, that is copy and paste, and the cut command and the paste command, that is equivalent to move, that is mv command. In that case, what happened? The source file that is deleted or that is removed and the new file that is created with the help of mv command. So, we are moving with this particular example. Just first clear the screen. Now, you can check, these are the 3 files available in my dir2. Now, suppose I would like to move that file 1.txt into file 4.txt, right? So, as in cp command you have seen, if file 4.txt is not available, in that case this command will create, same way here this will be created. So, now file 1.txt, then after the destination file, that is file 4.txt. Now, you can see with the help of ls command, this file 1.txt that is removed because we are using the mv command. If you are using the cp command, then that should be there in the same location. Now, you can check the contents of this file, file 4.txt. So, you can observe file 4.txt. So, the contents that can be moved from file 1 to file 4 and the file 1.txt, which is our source file, that is removed, right. So, I think you are aware with this difference between cp and mv command. You can also say that the rename that can be also done with the mv. Whenever you are using mv command, that the file name that can be renamed, so the previous cannot be exist, right. This is the syntax on your screen, mv, then after the source file and the destination file. Now, the next command, that is the rm file, that is remove files or directory. In mv command, you are using the rename, right, and in the next command rm file, in that case, if you want to delete the whole directory structure or if you want to delete some file, in that case you are using rm file. If you want to delete the directory, in the previous session as we have discussed the directory related commands rmdir that can be used, right. Now, suppose directory is not empty, in that case that rmdir does not work. You have to use some specific options to remove that non-empty directory, right. Now, suppose you want to remove the whole structure of the directory, you are using this rm command. So, you can see here that rm is used to remove the files or directories. Now, which options that you can use here with this? So, you can use this R option, that is recursive removal. So, all the subdirectories or whatever the files available into that particular directory that can be deleted with the help of R option, right? Then after next option is F option, that is remove forcibly. You already aware that file having some access rights, that is read access, write access, right? So if you are not having the permission to change some of the contents, or if you want to remove the file having the write access, you don't have the write access, right? It is write protected. In that case, you can use this F option and then after the file name. In that case, what happen? If the file is write protected, then also you can able to delete. The thing is only that you are having sufficient permissions at user side, right? So this is forcibly remove that particular file. Then after wildcard characters, as we are using in the CP and MV, same you can use here. Here the example is given RM, then after the option F, then after F, then *.txt. What it means? So all the files that started with letter F and having the extension txt, and if they are write protected, then also you can delete all those files with the help of this option, that is F option, right? Now the next thing, that is user and the group permission. Now in the previous session we have discussed, if you are using, see here ls and l option, then these are the different information you can able to see. So we have seen that first character, that is dash, that represent the file type, that is the ordinary file. If here it is D, then it is directory file, that we have already discussed in the previous session. Then after the permission that can be mentioned, that is RWX. So these permissions that can be divided for the users, for groups and for the others. Then after we have seen that link option, that particular file or directory linked with how many other files or directory. Then after the file size in bytes. Then after the file created at which time or modified at which time, and then after the file name. So all these information that you can see with the help of L option, and the command is ls command, right? Now if you want to see here the user and the group. So what is user and what is group? Each and every file or each and every directory that are related with some user or some groups, because whenever you are creating that file, you are the user, right? So basically in the Linux system, it is broadly categorized. Basically two types of users are there. One is root user, you can also say that the super user, and the second user is the normal user. Now what is the difference? Now root user or the super user having all the access permissions or all the rights. That means what? You can able to add some user, you can able to modify some of the file of another user. You can also change the access rights of that file. You can install some new files, some new software, some new applications. So all the permissions, all the authentications that are having that root user or the super user. And another type of user, that is the normal user, they are having some limited access or limited permissions, right? In that case, they cannot able to change some of the permissions of some another or different users. So whatever the permissions given by the root user, the only that permissions that can be possible for that particular normal user, right? Now suppose you want to add some user, then which command is used? So there is a command called user add. So you can see on the screen user add command, and then after space and the username. So this command can create a new user. The only thing is that you are having sufficient permissions for that. You can also change the password by using PASSWD, that is password command. So whenever you are using this command, the system or the prompt will ask you for the new password. You have to write that password. Again it will ask for the rewriting the password. Once all is done properly, then the user is created with sufficient permission and some access right of that particular user. Then after group. Now what is the difference between user and the group? Now user is individual and the group is nothing but the collection of users. As you already aware, each and every file and directory having some unique ID. Same way in client server architecture, number of clients, number of user having their separate user ID. Same way whenever you are creating a group and inside that group there are multiple users are there. So as user having separate or unique ID, same way group having some also unique ID, that is called group ID, right? So you can see here on the screen, suppose that is considering as GID, in previous case it is UID, that is user ID, here it is group ID, that is unique identification for that particular group. So if you want to identify any user, if you want to identify any group, that can be possible with this unique identification number, right? Here again two types of group, as we have discussed two types of user, root user or super user and normal user, same way here two types of groups are there, one is primary and another is supplementary. Now each and every user is a part of primary group, and it may be possible they are the part of supplementary group. The supplementary group may be 0 or multiple. So you can say that each user is a member of a primary group and of 0 or more than 0 supplementary group, right? Now as we have discussed, if you want to create user, there is a command called user add. Same way, if you want to generate, if you want to create a group, you are having a command that is group add and then after the group name. So you can see on the screen group add, that is the command, and then after you have to mention the group name, so that group will be created. Now suppose you want to assign password, the same command you can use, that is PASSWD and then after the group name. So you can give the new password, you can retype the password. If all these things are working properly, your group will be generated, right? So in this session we have discussed file related commands, that is ls command that we have revised. Then after we have seen cat command to create file, then after we have seen copy command to copy the files, then move command to move the files. Then after we have discussed rm command to remove the files or directories or the directory structure. Then after we have discussed what is user, what is group, how many types of users are there, how many types of groups are there, how you can create user and the group. So in this unit 2 of block 3, that is the file and directory related commands. In the next subsequent unit, we will see some more utility based command. Till then, happy learning. Thank you.